The cry of a baby is something most of us cannot stand. It can actually be unbearable. But the challenge for most parents is that crying seems to be the major language babies use to communicate. If they are tired of sleeping, they can just wake up in the middle of the night and the next thing is... I mean, if you're feeding them and they were full, the next thing you hear is... It's even more difficult when these babies cry in public spaces or places like, lecture halls while their mothers sit for an exam, marketplaces, buses on long journeys, mosques or church services. Now, your main challenge as a parent is to discover what's making the baby cry. The first instinct of most parents is to get their babies to stop crying and then sort them out. Now, when persuasion fails for most African parents, they resort to threats like kakai, kakai, kakaimba, or kakai bona, kakaiba, obechu, kakai bona. Some babies respond adversely. The sound of kakai actually makes them cry even louder. So from kakai, parents switch to police, beba, move for police, mommy, inspector, stuff like that. I've always had issues with that kind of thing because the police is supposed to be a civilian's friend. Well, now a friend of mine resorted to this police strategy after kakai failed, so her baby would stop crying in recent times. Police, Becho, Inspector Becho. Well, and this is the response of the baby. Take a look. Apparently, the baby has been monitoring the performance of the police and the Emotion Commission of Inquiry, and the baby thinks that if the IGP can make Azugu look so good, then there's no need to be afraid of the police at all. I mean, actually, the baby is right. The police is our friend after all. Bye-bye. Oh, Colette. This is BackPage on City TV, your new satirical show. My name is Caleb Kuda. See, after 62 years of our political independence, the biggest news this week for me is not even how a man who swaps stolen mobile phones for a living at Tiptoe Lane swapped places to become a national security operative. No, even then, that should be a great grass to grace story for motivational speakers to use. But you know that the Ghana Foreign also as historic as the independence celebration in Tamale is or was, the biggest news for me this week is this.
It is a day no one expected to come, as the service people often take for granted has suddenly become scarce. In the wake of today's mortuary workers' strike, a visit to the Bimbilla Government Hospital showed that their mortuary has been locked up with no attendants available. According to City News sources, the mortuary attendant, popularly known as Last Doctor, is said to be out of town. Other reports suggested that there were no bodies available as the morgue's equipment was not functioning. Meanwhile, in the Kittu South municipality of the Volta region, City News' checks showed that the mortuary was locked as at 10:30 a.m. Apparently, workers were there early in the morning to clean the place but left soon after in compliance with the strike. In the national capital, Accra, a trip to one of the city's biggest mortuaries at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital revealed that no work was going on. Today, the mortuary workers I see are only chatting among themselves. Loved ones who had come to make arrangements ahead of planned funerals were left disappointed. Auntie Maggie is one of them.
My granddaughter is at the morgue and I'm doing some papers because he didn't die here. It was an accident, so I have to bring some papers. That's why I'm here. But unfortunately, when I came, I didn't meet anybody. So I'm waiting whether I can get somebody to help me. I'm begging the government, if it's true that their service is not good, they should just help them to assume what they want so that everybody will be free, because we can't keep the dead bodies in our house. We by all means bring them here. So the government should look at it.
For the mortuary workers, the strike is justified because there has been no improvement after years of working under poor conditions. With monthly salaries reaching as low as 300 cedis, not being entitled to a leave of absence or healthcare coverage, the people who do the job everyone would quickly turn down say they've had enough.
I know across the country, everywhere, when they brought the bodies, they send it back, maybe funeral homes or whatever. We don't know where they send it. Other people are burying it. We don't know. We just fight for our grievances.
So if right now somebody comes in with a body, or somebody comes in and says, I want to retrieve a body, I have all of my papers, what will happen to the person?
Oh, the person will send his body out. We don't have a problem with anyone. We just, if someone is a strike, there's nothing to be done in his premises. So we have nothing to do.
Well, cold truth, we will all die, whether you're the most beautiful, strongest or not. Warm truth, hopefully, we will not die because a speeding vehicle knocked us down in a hit and run, because the construction of footbridges is taking forever. And as recalcitrant as we are, we decide to cross a highway at unauthorized places. Boiling truths. What I believe strongly, though, is that when we all die, at least we pray and hope that our remains will be dignified. But imagine that those who do this job are on strike, like you heard and saw earlier. They are protesting the poor conditions under which they work. Some say they even use the same gloves they used to carry dead bodies for 3 months. And guess what? They earn as much as 300 Ghana cedis a whole month. Yeah, and their entire families depend on same. Well, that is when grieving families do not tip them at all. Interestingly, the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission says their strike is illegal. That they are casual workers, yada, 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 no problem. We, the Mortuary Workers Association of Ghana, say we are on strike. And you know, for some reasons, the good people in our lives often die earlier. I mean, I don't know, but for some reason, while some other wicked people we could easily swap places with live so long. Anyway, as we tape, the uncomfortable truth is that should any good person in your life pass away, I mean, God forbid, right? Even though death is inevitable, you will either have to keep the dead body in your home, or I don't know. Well, actually, the president of the association has a suggestion what you should do to that dead body.
If someone is a strike, there's nothing to be done in his premises. So we have nothing to do. When he comes, he should go to the ministries and call the minister and friends and come and give the body to. We don't have nothing to do to anyone. You have a body with a government, not me. So when you pay to the government to pick your body and then you can't receive your body, what do? You go to the government, sue the government and take your money. It is not my concern. I don't have nothing to do.
Come on, that's mean. You can't tell us to go tell the minister to come carry our dead. Like, no. When policemen are carrying their bags and holding their suits when journalists interview them, that's not cool. Meanwhile, we are always told we do not have adequate policemen, right? Please, end it right there. But sincerely, I don't know how families that have gone for loans to hold massive funerals will recoup their investment. So really, after all the publicity, hiring people who will cry and all that in anticipation of Nsabode, while we hope that mortuary workers will be sorted out so they sort those who need them out, can we resolve to be a little more kinder to so-called casual workers? Yeah, because whereas a security man may never drive, he can give you directions to help you turn around. But the security man to you can find a security man who go like travel 360, try left. And it just, all because when you are done, they want some 5 cities. Anyway, now, you don't know whether you should pretend that you've left something in the office, so you leave the car and go and bring that thing just so the security man can leave you alone. Well, news in is that as we speak, these wonderful mortuary workers have actually, they have cancelled their strike, and that's good news. But sincerely, can we all resolve, honestly, to be much more kinder, a lot more kinder to people like mortuary workers and people who do jobs that we otherwise would not even do for ourselves? Can we just resolve to do that? Yeah. Now, it's time to talk about the living away from the dead. I mean the powerful living and their need for protection. In opposition, they call this group private security. In government, they call them national security. I thought we all knew this. Now, one of them is called Double. He showed up at the Emil Short Commission of Inquiry looking into the Ayahuasca West War gun violence. And Ghanaians say, hey.
What were you doing prior to working with national security?
Juma Ben and now before I woke up national security.
Mobile phones or Circle.
I was selling mobile phones at Circle.
Are you able to tell this commission how you got enrolled or appointed into the national security?
Bet me a culture commission ni how to me back national security name.
My lord, 2017, and I'm a TSA national security for recruitment.
In 2017, I heard that national security was having a recruitment in the.
And I may apply for my application.
So I applied for the position.
Did you have to go through an interview process, for instance?
I do go through interview now.
Because vetting, nah, yes, I taking me fingerprint, yes,
I went for vetting and I was my fingerprints were taken as well.
Ms. Akumia, did you go through any formal training to become a national security operative?
Go any formal training and sana do commissioning.
In patron, I call a secretary for 3 weeks.
Yes, I was trained at a secretary for 3 weeks.
In defense of Double, someone needs to expose the double standards of some Ghanaians. So first, they say, why did he speak Chi instead of English at the commission? Because he's a national security operative at the VIP lounge of Kotoka International Airport. He should be able to speak English, you know. And me, I disagree. 62 years after independence, we still do not think our local language is good enough for civil discourse. Forget about the fact that he works at the airport. And so what? Have you been to France before? Every signage at their airports is in France. So, what's the language? Francois. You meet someone and you're like, me pacho, mena baby gusto kakran. Whoever it is says, on l'appelle moi, déjà vu, avec, ma tatouche. You don't understand anything. And you're like, oh sister, me pacho, me say me pe baby gusto. And the response, étudiant, école, conjugué, avoir. Et les toi ne paie, à moi c'est le corps. And you're like, ça où tu dis, toi ne paie de until you find a Ghanaian friend who will come to your rescue. Sister, forget it. And if you're not lucky and your melanin levels are high, they could just call the police on you. So let them also come and learn our language. That one there. And also, just because someone says he or she is not proficient in the English language doesn't mean he's not smart. I mean, Double knows the difference between an interview and a vetting.
Did you have to go through an interview process, for instance?
I do go through interview now.
Because vetting, nah, yes, I take me fingerprint, yes,
I went for vetting and I was my fingerprints were taken as well.
That's all. That's all. That's all. Nobody took the pains to check his criminal records or anything. Vetting, fingerprint. Meanwhile, some people are turned away from the military simply because their breast is heavy. And I hear that. And I don't even know who does the measurement. Now, the other thing people are upset about is Double's qualification and how he got into the national security.
Now, me turn mobile phones or Circle.
I was selling mobile phones at Circle.
Are you able to tell this commission how you got enrolled or appointed into the national security?
Bet me a culture commission ni how to me back national security ni.
My lord, 2017, and I'm a say national security for recruitment.
In 2017, I heard that national security was having a recruitment in the.
And I may apply for my application.
So I applied for the position.
Here again, it's either Ghanaians are being hypocritical or we are just hating on the poor vigilante commander, now turned national security operative at the VIP lounge of our only international airport. Now, they say national security is supposed to be the elite and intelligentsia of our security force, gathering intelligence, yada, 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 yada. When we were talking about local content, how did you people get it? And wait a minute, the man says he used to sell stolen phones at Tiptoe Lane. I mean, someone steals the phone, sells it to him, he takes out the memory card, battery and everything inside, replaces it with soap and then sells it to you and I. Now tell me, who better to recruit for intelligence gathering than a man who has worked at the headquarters of pickpockets, where they can just look at you and quickly know you have an iPhone 16 inside the womb of your bag. I mean, who better than a polling station chairman of the governing New Patriotic Party? You tell me. And Ghanaians don't listen carefully enough. Double says he heard national security was recruiting in the golden year of our Lord 2017. Have you ever seen national security recruitment published in the papers before? You need to be close enough to hear. Now, even recruitment into some government institutions, we are hearing is done from the Jubri house. And HR managers don't even know about it. If you doubt me, go to GIA, go to Efiadie, and all those places. If you are not more Ghanaian with connections, forget it. Anyway, we are happy for Double. No spirit from his house has disturbed him enough for him to quit his role.
Then what happened?
There were some other, I can say some spiritual something. So I have to leave the scene.
Spiritual, like what?
There were some attacks
On you?
on me, yeah.
By?
We cannot identify.
By spirit? By spirit?
Yes, my Lord. My Lord, they say it's from my house.
What exactly from your house?
What is worrying me, the spirit that is disturbing me is from my house.
Look, the IGP took turns at the Emil Short Commission. I really don't like how Ghanaians are saying he didn't sound on top of his job, especially when he said after all these days, he only visited the crime scene at Ayawa, so 2 days after the commissioners did.
My lord, in the police service, I had once been the head of the crime scene unit. And these are people who have been trained to manage crime scenes. So I wasn't expected to respond to the crime scene immediately because we have crime scene managers who were to do that. So I did not attend to the crime scene immediately, but I went there later.
Chief, can we define later?
I went there the last Sunday.
Last week, Sunday.
Yes, my lord.
And that would be...
Sunday, the last Sunday, that was the day before yesterday. Today is Tuesday.
Yes.
Today is Tuesday, so the day before yesterday.
So that would be 2 days after the commission had visited the site. Am I right?
Yes, my lord.
Well, I completely agree with the president when he says the public must have confidence in the police.
We cannot have a successful police service without the cooperation of the population. The cooperation starts with giving respect to the police and encouraging them to earn the trust of the people by serving the public with dedication.
You know, confidence is when you are able to compliment the Ghanaian police without feeling insecure. Before anyone accuses me of plagiarism, beat it. But you too. You don't say confidence to be problem. The real problem is say the appointment of the IGP by the president, that is the problem. If we really want Ghanaians to have confidence in and respect for the police, Mr. President, as a constitutional lawyer, must use legislation to depoliticize the police. So we no longer have to appoint IGPs whose allegiance will lie with the party of the day and not 62-year-old Amagana. Also, the police must stop saying we are investigating blah, blah, blah when they do not mean it. Now, how far with the investigations into the Tardy girls' issues? Are the girls dead or alive? Is the CID officer who helped the Nigerian kidnapper to bolt still at post? How about the other two? And what has become of the investigations into the CID couples who made sexual advances towards the widow of the late J.B. Dankwa? Welcome back to Backpage on City TV. My name is Caleb Kuda. See, never in the history of Ghana have we held independence celebration out of Accra. Hosting our 62th anniversary, as a certain newspaper wrote, in Tamale was very heartwarming. And many have congratulated the president for this historically relevant, culturally timely, and politically smart decision. We saw this beautiful picture. We thought we should share with you. People say the cedi met the dollar in Tamale and the cedi paid the obeisance to his meter. And oh, my friend Abdul Karim Ibrahim, he says if the display by the officers was to assure us of our security, then that looked more like a Chalewati art exhibition and not reassuring at all. Thank God we didn't order printed Ghana flags from China this time around, or at least that's not what we've heard so far. And also, more fugu in the coming days if you still live, more fugu in the coming days after this particular independence anniversary celebrations. Now, if you still live on the cliff of Wager, massive respect to you, Charlie. Massive.
I was praying, so as I was about to pray,
I heard it, brrr, I said, Jesus. So that was all. And it stopped. So it didn't go further.
You see, in times like this that mortuary workers go to strike, the least you can do is love yourself. Charlie, our Melcon experience should speak to you. Now, see, my gun is not good. So I do not understand Totopapa. You know, Totopapa, I don't know what that is, but apparently it's the name of a delicacy somewhere in Agotime, where the Heritage Caravan visited earlier. Now, the guns among them say Totopapa. And I'm here to enjoy Totopapa. I'll find out and see how it can be. Also, because it's a border town, if you cross the road to school, you are an international student because then you will be in another country, which is Togo. And if you left your bedroom to your porch, chances are that you are in another country. What a beautiful experience. What an experience this really is. It really is a beautiful one. I didn't know Moli National Park is bigger than Accra. Yeah, I didn't know. That park is so big. But hey, look at this. My goodness. You kiss a crocodile in his own pond? You kiss a crocodile in his own pond? Boy, this is so wrong. I mean, this is gross and predatory. Well, thank you for watching Backpage on City TV. My name is Caleb Kuda on Facebook. You can find me, Caleb Kuda, on Twitter, @Caleb Kuda. On YouTube, you can find all our episodes. That is Backpage on City TV GH. Say best or nothing. Do best or nothing.